As the eyes of the world turn to Gaza once again, political leaders and people here in Colorado and around the world are turning to social media to speak about the war, some posting anti-Semitic or Islamophobic sentiments that, left unchecked, could certainly be dangerous.
9 News reporter Rachel Krause spoke with a political science expert who explains why those hurtful messages pop up at a time like this and what we can all do to combat it.
It's been days now since Hamas's deadly attack on Israel, killing more than 1,000. The human impact felt around the world and here in Colorado.
A friend of mine in Jerusalem, whose daughter's two best friends who were at the concert have been missing ever since. And he has another friend who was in the kibbutz that was attacked, and she is a peace activist who was taken hostage.
Political science professor Frankie Wilmer has studied this region closely. In the days since the war between Israel and Hamas broke out, political leaders and people around the world have posted statements of support, others posting hate.
People have noticed whenever there's a war that Israel's involved in, there's a rise in anti-Semitic attacks. Similarly, though, after 9/11, and again now, there's an increase in Islamophobic attacks. So places like Los Angeles are increasing their security around both of those potential targets and vulnerabilities in the community there.
Wilmer says the tendency to dehumanize or other people, even whole groups of people, is within us all, able to be triggered by a traumatic event or a permissive environment. It can be hard to be vigilant against in the middle of such a deadly conflict.
In a time of stress and war and conflict and violence, everyone's more vulnerable to simplifying and painting with broad strokes. And it's very emotional. And there are people with relatives in harm's way.
Left unchecked, it can be dangerous. With racism, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia able to be spread in an instant on social media, Wilmer says, consider the words you're choosing and whether they could be harmful to another community. Wilmer says try empathizing with those impacted by the fighting between Israel and Hamas.
To be focused on civilians on both sides, for instance. And remember, when we talk about the numbers, like the number of people in Gaza, how many of those people, that's just a population number, are children.
As this war continues on, turning away from anger and hate toward empathy is far from easy. But Wilmer says that tool will be critical in the days and years to come.
The temptation for revenge is always great. The challenge for empathy is even greater.
Wilmer said one thing that really struck me earlier. She said truth is the first casualty of war, with fake or misleading stories or posts on social media popping up constantly surrounding the conflict between Israel and Hamas, designed to inflame or ignite hatred in some cases. Wilmer says people need to take extra care when they see something, to be wary and double check that the images or stories that they hear are true before considering liking or sharing.
Which is just generally good advice on the internet, even outside of something like so sensitive and so difficult as this.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Rachel, thank you.